a bit of time in the car, so I thought I'd answer a question. What's some things I would tell myself if I was 16? What's some things that I could... What's some gem pieces of advice I would tell myself if I was 16 again and knew nothing that I knew right now? What would I tell that version of me? What would I tell 16-year-old Ty now if I could go back? If I could go back and tell him some things, especially with regard to, I would say, health and fitness, probably. Or could be anything, could be all sorts of different stuff, but mainly to do with like just longevity of health and improving himself and fitness and goal setting and all those sorts of stuff. So yeah, mainly on the topic of, well, really, no excuses. Every day, baby. I would go back. First thing I'd tell him is, just I think if you want to stay fit, realize that the work and the effort, even though you're young and you're 16, the work and the effort that you do as a 16-year-old, it's like everything's going to look so different when you get older, into your late 20s and into your early 30s. And I say that in terms of all aspects of your life, because you can go and do some crazy stuff to your body as a 16-year-old and wake up the next morning and have absolutely nothing's even, like, it doesn't even phase you. Nothing even happened. It's like you didn't do anything. You can go and run a marathon as a 16-year-old, I feel like, and wake up the next morning and be like, oh, I actually feel all right. Nothing even happened. So I guess the main thing I would kind of say is like, everything you do now sets you up for later in life, and it's gonna make you stronger and smarter and better in a lot of different ways by like setting yourself up early, because a real key thing that I've realized is the more things you can delay your gratification on, the better the outcome is down the track. So a perfect example is if you have two options in front of you to eat. One is, a healthy piece of lean steak or some chicken or something like that for dinner versus a tub of ice cream. Yes, in the short term, you probably think, the tub of ice cream, that's going to satisfy me. It's got a bit of a sugar hit. I'm going to enjoy eating it. But it's just short-term gain. Whereas eating the steak and having the chicken is going to set you up for long-term benefits, long-term gain. So I learnt this probably better than any other aspect of my life, because it's very easy to see the benefits over time. But compound interest is essentially delaying the short-term gratification for longer-term horizon outcomes. And compound interest, if you save money today, if you don't spend money today, and you put it in a high-interest savings account, for example, in 10 years' time, that money compounds, because the interest, let's say it's 4% interest on $10. Well, that 4% compounds year on year, and the interest doesn't compound. It doesn't compound on 4% of $10. It compounds on 4% of what the principal grows to. So if your $10 grows to, $50 in a couple of years, this is just hypothetical, grows to $50 in a couple of years, you're continuing to earn that 4% on the now $50, not the $10. So by doing things today, like strength training, like nice aerobic activity consistently, eating the right things, keeping your energy balance in check, i.e. calories in versus calories out, and really hitting your protein goals, those things are going to compound over time and set you up for your later aspects of your life. Because every year, once you get past, your early 20s, you don't want to say it the way that I'm going to say it, but it's, you do physically and mentally, you do deteriorate, right? You deteriorate over the years. Like an 80-year-old is not the same person they were when they were 20. So everything from recovery to, your muscle mass, to your mental sharpness, your clarity, all those sorts of things, all of those things, unfortunately, they deteriorate as we age. And that's just, that's just something that we have to accept in our lives. And it's just a way of life. Anyway, so the first main thing I would say is delay gratification as much as you possibly can, because I know when I was 16, I had the choice, when I was 16, I had a lot of choices, or 17, 18, you have the choice, should I go to the party or should I stay home and study, for example. And now I look at the, outside of all of this stuff, now I look at the work and the, my career and how it's unfolded. By delaying gratification, I now, enjoy great income stream, a great income earning potential through my career, because I put that study in back then. Even though, yes, I would have been happier this is the thing, right? You get that dopamine and the happy release chemicals in the moment when you go to that, let's say it's a party when you're 17 years old or 18 years old. Let's say it's a party, you go to the party and you should have been home studying and reflecting on all of that sort of stuff. Here you are, you've put your time aside and you've set yourself up to go and graduate your degree, pass the subjects, but in the moment it just doesn't feel like it's very valuable and worth it. Anyway, so I would say delayed gratification is so huge, and just playing the long-term game in everything that you do in your life. Yes, of course, there's a balance. You've got to enjoy life and go through stuff like that, and some of those things are going to be short-term gains, and that's all part of life. That's just part of the game. But yeah, I would definitely say, like, just in every circumstance of your life, whether it's family, friends, relationships, in your job, in your career, financially, and especially, which is most applicable to what I'm doing here, is your health and fitness journey, is delaying gratification. All good things come through consistency and being disciplined and being patient. Patience is just, it's huge. Like I've got people that I come across in my life, and they go, "Oh, Ty, you can, like, how do you run some of your times, and how are you so fit?" And it's not an overnight thing. It's it's not even a weekly thing. It's not even a monthly thing. It's not even a 1 to 2 year thing. I've been running consistently, I would say probably 3 to 4 times a week for decades now. I kind of started doing cross country when I was in like year 1, which was like 6 years old, and I'm now 30. I'm now in my early 30s. So it's just like, what? Like that's nearly 25 years of like consistent mileage in the legs, and that just accumulates. And even in the last like 12 months, I've always had that base. I would say I've always had not too bad mechanics in terms of the way I run and all those sorts of things. But I would say the engine, like my base, my foundation, my fitness foundation, it's been built over, it's been built brick by brick, but over decades now, years and years. And so delayed gratification is huge, and I could go into detail and like all those sorts of different things about how important it is. And whenever you come to a crossroad where you have to make a decision, you look at, okay, is this going to benefit me in the long term or the short term? And if it's going to benefit you in the short term, but be a detriment in the long term, then you really need to kind of like reconsider the decision you're about to make. I don't want to go into too much detail with the delayed gratification. That can be an entirely, I would say that could be an entirely different video and discussion altogether. But delayed gratification, key one. I'd say the next couple of things are probably just short little riff-off ones, especially to do with just looking after yourself and the things that have worked for me, and I know work for many, many other people in terms of looking after themselves and being healthy and getting the weight loss results that they want, is, learn the principles of calories in versus calories out. It's a basic equation. If your body, over the years, if your body is, if you're consuming or eating more calories than your body is burning, whether it's in exercise or just not doing anything, it's just the energy that your body needs to survive and keep the lights on, keep your heart beating, keep your digestive system going, and your eyes open and working, all the normal processes. Just really spend a little bit of time, work out what your maintenance calories is, and if you want to lose weight, well, you eat in a calorie deficit, you eat below what your body needs to burn. And if you want to gain weight, i.e. muscle and maybe fat, whatever your goal is, then you need to eat more calories than your body is burning. And if you want to stay exactly where you are, you eat essentially the same amount of calories that your body is burning in any given day. So calories in versus calorie out. The second thing in terms of nutrition, in getting what results you want, is protein. Protein's the building blocks of all of your systems and processes that your body needs. It also has a high thermic. It also has a high thermic. I don't even know what the whatever it is. Thermic effect is what I was trying to say. So versus other aspects of macronutrients, so you've got your carbs, your fats, your proteins. Just prioritize protein and hitting your calories. So because the higher the better quality protein you get in your diet, the fuller for longer you are going to be. And 9 times out of 10, protein isn't ever really burnt as fuel. It's used as building blocks. So you want to maintain your muscle frame as much as possible. So you want to eat good protein, and you want to maintain the calorie. You want to maintain your calorie balance. So they're the two, I would say, main ones in terms of your nutrition. The third one in terms of nutrition that I would say is doing stuff that's sustainable. If you don't like eating something, for example, don't eat it. Just kind of change to something else that can be swapped out for it that you do enjoy. It's got to be sustainable. The best diet is the diet that you don't know you're on. That's so, whatever works for you. Personally, I kind of just I kind of just went raw dog and just forgot about why, yes, I eat food because it tastes good, But the main reason why I eat food is nothing to do with taste. It is completely based on how is it going to help and aid and fuel me for performance. That's it. So when it comes to that sort of stuff, like I'm so used to just like, you know, eating eggs at lunch and eating steak or some protein-based meat for dinner, and kind of filling in all my macronutrients around that. It's super, super simple. But I really just don't overcomplicate it at all. So they're the main three things with nutrition. I would say in terms of like fitness, so if we circle back, we've got the main one is delayed gratification, and that's to do with every aspect of your life. So I'd tell my 16-year-old self that straight away. Delay gratification. Do shit in your life that is going to help you long term and not short term. Who cares about the short term? Just like completely remove that from your head altogether. Highly recommend that. Number 2 is calories in versus calories out, and that's nutrition based. Number 3 is again nutrition based. Eating protein. Make sure you prioritize protein. Get the building blocks in. You know, if you have no control in your diet, that's the only thing that I would control your portions of. Just really concentrate on, you know, you walk into a buffet in a hotel, for example, and there are no other options, but you have to eat here. You know, go for the stuff that's going to have protein in it. That's going to be the most whole food, protein based, protein rich, medium density calorie foods you possibly can. And if you have to supplement protein powder or whatever it is, just make sure you get it in, and then just enjoy the other stuff. The fourth thing I'd say, and again back on nutrition, is just making sure it's sustainable as well. If you're cooking all your own food, or you're buying it out, whatever the fact is, if you enjoy it, eat it, and just obviously look at the first 2 things before that, which is obviously your calorie balance and your proteins. The 5th thing I would say with regards to your health and your nutrition, your health and fitness, is just consistently train, no matter what it is. Like, just get movement in, just move more. Just like, you know, if you've got 15 minutes, instead of sitting at your desk at home, like everyone's working from home these days, like just get up, and if it's not a meeting and you don't need to be in front of the screen, get up, take the phone call. You know, you can get like 3,000 or 4,000 steps in a 15-20 minute phone call. It's like you didn't even do anything. You did the same thing. Instead of sitting at your desk looking at the screen when you're not being productive, like get up out of your chair when you take the phone call. It's like simple things like that. Take the stairs in the train stations instead of the escalator, or the airports, whatever the case may be. Just move more. It doesn't matter. Like, if you know you're going to be on a flight for 8 hours, why would you sit down in the airport and, you know, watch a movie? Why can't you, you know, why wouldn't you just go and get movement? All of those little things, they add up over time. And again, it all comes back to delayed gratification, short-term gain versus long-term pain, right? Or flip that around, short-term pain, long-term gain. Anyway, that's how I base all of my decisions. They're actually, those principles are just really, really simple. They're just this, I don't know what it is, this whole fitness industry is just like completely blurs the whole, you know, it just gets so blurred with everything. Anyway, they're the main things that I would tell my 16-year-old self, to be honest. In summary, the 5 things I would tell my 16-year-old self: delay gratification at all costs. In terms of nutrition, check your calorie balance, calories in versus calories out. 3rd thing with regards to nutrition, really prioritize protein intake. 4th thing would be sustainable eating, with keeping number 2 and number 3, and even number 1 in account. And then number 5 is just get more movement. just get more movement. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Do stuff that is sustainable, that you enjoy. Do activities that you like. If you like surfing, go and try and surf as much as you possibly can. Don't go and force yourself to do burpees if you don't want to do them. For some crazy reason, I don't know why I enjoy them, but I do enjoy them. I like the art of suffering, because it all ties back to the delayed gratification, right? I love being in pain now, and I like suffering now, because I know at some point down the track it is of some benefit to me. So anyway, they're probably the 5 main critical things that I would go back, if I had a chance to go back and talk to my 16-year-old self before he kind of embarked on the world and jumped into a career and jumped into chasing things in his life. Because they all add up. All those things, those 5 things are like really critical in terms of your health and fitness, and just being the best performing human being you possibly can at any given time. So anyway, just a couple of things I thought I'd answer for myself.